Today I'll be covering our new analytics design. Good afternoon. Thank you for having me here today to present our new HR analytics. During this presentation, I'll cover where we are today with HR analytics, why HR analytics matter, and the HR analytics that we'll start using. I'll explain the following metrics and how they are calculated. These metrics are employee absenteeism rate, employee absenteeism cost, employee separation rate, and employee separation cost. Today we are not using HR analytics to our advantage. We are currently not using any HR analytics at all. One of the metrics we are not tracking is the absenteeism rate. Since we're not tracking the absenteeism, we are missing out on what absenteeism costs the company. We are also not tracking the rate of separations. Without knowing the rate of separations, we'll not be able to tie a cost to the employee turnovers and what it costs the company to replace an employee that has left. By not tracking this data, we're not capturing the true cost that is taking place within HR. While it's hard to predict people's tendencies, using analytics will help us see trends and opportunities to make things better for the employees in hopes of having a better retention rate. Anytime I'm discussing measures and analytics, it always brings me back to the quote from the famous Peter Drucker. If you can't measure it, you can't manage it. Right now we're not measuring these metrics, so it's impossible for us to manage them. The good news is that we can now start measuring them, which will allow us the ability to improve. You may be asking yourself, why HR analytics? According to Cascio, Bordeaux, and Fink, the use of analytics in HR allows the company to see how a program can reduce the cycle time of staffing, reduce the cost, and maintain validity. By using analysis, companies can put a monetary value to an employee selection process that allows the company to see if what they are doing is working or not in the hiring process. As mentioned earlier, if we are not measuring and tracking the data, we cannot improve the business. HR measurements are valuable and take out the guesswork on how to hire and manage the talent. It gives us the necessary data to improve vital decisions about human resources. Now let's take a closer look at employee absenteeism. The definition of absenteeism given to us by Cascio, Bordeaux, and Fink is absenteeism is any failure to report for or remain at work as scheduled, regardless of the reason. According to a survey of 465 companies conducted by Mercer in 2018, 9% of payroll cost is consumed by absenteeism. Absenteeism does not only affect the employee that is not at work, it also has an effect on the morale of the employees that are at work. While we have not been calculating employee absenteeism rates, I did calculate the rate for September, and we'll show those numbers, how those numbers are calculated on the next slide. But on this slide, here we can see the absenteeism rate for September was 3%, with a cost per employee of $638.74, with the total cost to the company for the month of September at $31,937.12. On this slide, I'll be discussing the absenteeism rate calculation. Here is where we calculated the absenteeism for September 2020. With our workforce of 50 employees, there were 264 hours of work missed, and the total absenteeism rate was 3%. To get this, we took the hours missed, divided that by the average workforce size times working hours. So we had 264 hours missed of work divided by 50 employees times 176 hours of work hours. And for the month, there were 264 hours missed divided by 8,800 total working hours, which gives us the 3% absenteeism rate for September. On this slide, I'm explaining how we calculate the cost of absenteeism. On step 1, the total employee hours lost to absenteeism for September was 264. Step 2 was the weighted average wage salary per hour per absent employee, which was $27.29. Step 3 was the cost of employee benefits per hour per absent employee, which was $9.28. And step 4 is the total compensation loss per hour per absent employee. This is the wage plus the benefit, which is $36.57. The total compensation loss for September is on step 5. This is the total employee hours of 264 times the total compensation of $36.57 for a total of $9,654.48. Step 6 is the total supervisory hours spent on absenteeism. As we all know, when people are out, supervisors have to spend their time moving people around to cover and fill gaps, which is an average of 3.4 hours per week per supervisor times the 4 supervisors. So that's 3.4 hours times 4 supervisors times the 4 weeks in September, which was 54.4 hours for the month. Step 7 is the average hourly supervisor wage of $41.96. Step 8 is the total supervisory salaries lost to managing problems of absenteeism, which is their hours per the period of 54.4 hours, times their $41.96 rate, which is a total of $2,282.64. Step 9, the cost of substitute employees. With our companies being new, we do not have any substitute employees at this time, so that's going to be a 0. Step 10 is cost of reduced quantity and quality of work. This is an estimate for this example, but that's $20,000 to the lack of being able to fulfill customer needs during the month due to all the lost time. Step 11 is the total estimated cost of absenteeism, which takes into account the total compensation lost for September, the total supervisory salary lost to managing problems, the cost of substitute employees, which was 0, and the cost of reduced quantity and quality of work. So that's the $9,654.48 for the compensation, plus $2,282.64 for the supervisor's time, plus $20,000 for the lost quantity and quality of work, which totals $31,937.12. Step 12 gives us the total estimated cost of absenteeism per employee, which is that $31,937.12 divided by our 50 employees, gets our total for $638.84 per employee for the month. Employee separation. Employee separations can be defined as a quit, a layoff, a discharge, or other separations such as retirement. It's important for us to track this metric to better understand the trend. This will allow us to investigate programs to help improve employee retention, and this metric will allow us to see how those programs are doing. I have gone back into the files and found that we've had 12 separations in the past year. The following numbers will be explained on the next page of how they were calculated, but the annual separation rate is 24% with a cost of $1,620,000. This is not taking into account the loss of customers due to employee shortages. If we reduce the annual separation by 25% to an annual rate of 16%, we'll save $540,000. Both the employee separation rate and the separation cost will be emailed out every month in the HR monthly report. But to get those calculations, to get the employee separation rate calculation, we take the number of turnovers divided by the average workforce times 100%. We had 12 turnovers divided by our 50 employees gives us a 24% current annual separation rate. Now, we'd like to have a goal to improve this by reducing it by 25%. So we'd like to see next year only 8 separations out of the 50 employees, which will give us a goal annual separation rate of 16%. Now the employee separation potential cost savings, our current annual turnover of 24% and our current annual goal of 16%. Now we take the annual salary of $90,000 for the 12 techs that left, and that's 1.5 times the salary, which is $135,000. So currently, a total cost of loss for employee separations is $1,620,000, and our goal is going to be $1,080,000, which is an annual savings of $540,000. Once again, all these will be emailed out with the HR report every month, and if you have any questions, just let me know. Thank you.